Hello, my name is Liz Kelly and I'm the Grant Specialist with the Minnesota Department of Veteran Affairs. This presentation is part 3 of a 4-part series called Reporting Grant Expenditures. In part 3 of this presentation, we're going to continue from where we left off in part 2, reviewing the forms and spreadsheets that grantees will use to report their grant expenditures. So we've taken a look at the request form, the budget expenditure spreadsheet, and supporting documentation. Well, what about those other items listed? Activity log, travel, and so on. These documents are submitted if they apply to your grant. So for instance, for travel, if you have a line item in your budget for travel and you are submitting paperwork showing that you or someone in your organization did some travel, which you're requesting reimbursement, then you will be submitting a travel log in addition to everything else. And the same goes for the contract and bidding log sheet, gift certificate log, etc. Here's an example of one activity log. It's important to remember that activity logs are designed specifically for each individual grantee because it's going to track how the veterans are served for their particular grant. In this example, this grantee is providing outings for veterans and family members. So there is a place where they are recording the veteran ID, the number of family members that attended the event, some information about where the veteran served, which branch of the military, and so on. This is what the travel log looks like when you download it from the website. If you look at the columns, there are many categories. Mileage is only one criteria. It's important to remember that any travel must be reported on the travel log, even if you're not reporting mileage. So for instance, if you take a taxi to the airport and then travel to San Diego, and this is part of your grant, you will be reporting in the column that says other travel expenses, your taxi, your airfare. In the column next to it, you probably reporting your hotel expenses and so on. So remember, any travel-related expense must be reported on the travel log. So here's an example of a travel log that was submitted a few years ago when the mileage reimbursement rate was different than it is in 2019. And this grantee has color-coded the different travel events just to make it a little easier to read. The thing to remember is that all the Excel spreadsheets that are used for your grants have embedded formulas and are doing a lot of the work for you. They're calculating your totals. So in the bottom right-hand corner in the highlighted yellow cell, you can see that all these travel expenses come to a grand total of $1,493. Remember that amount because that is the amount that this grantee is going to record on their budget expenditure spreadsheet for travel. The contract and bidding log sheet is where a grantee documents that they have requested bids for items that exceed certain dollar thresholds that have been included in their grant budget with MDVA. So bidding is required for budget items when they exceed certain dollar amounts. And the way grantees know what those thresholds are is by referring to their grant agreement. In every MDVA grant agreement, there is a section in section 4.3 labeled Contract and Bidding, and it lists all the requirements around bidding when a budget item exceeds certain dollar amounts. So for instance, if a grantee has a budgeted item for $11,000 for maybe software, a new software system, the current requirement by the state is that the grantee will get 2 verbal bids for the software system that they're wanting to purchase. And then those bids are documented on the contract and bidding log. In the case of the gift certificate log, grantees will only use the log if they have a line item in their original budget for a gift card. In this example, there is a line item for $5,000 for fuel gift cards. So when the grantee is reporting grant expenditures, in this example, this is their second reimbursement payment request. In the highlighted yellow row, they are reporting that they spent $2,000 on fuel gift cards. And again, their original budget is shown in the left 5 columns. So in the previous example, the grantee that reported $2,000 in gift cards would be submitting several pages, most likely, of gift certificate log sheets where they are listing all the gift cards that they distributed. This is an Excel spreadsheet, and so as the dollar amount is completed in the right-hand column, gift card dollar value, the total will automatically update. The expectation would be that the gift cards would total at least $2,000. So to summarize, always submit either a payment request form or a payment report form, the budget expenditure spreadsheet itemizing your expenditures, and supporting documentation. Submit, when applicable, the activity log, the travel log, conflict of interest disclosure form, contract and bidding log sheet, and gift certificate log sheet. This concludes part 3 of the 4-part series reporting grant expenditures. In the final section, part 4, we will pull everything that you've learned in the first 3 presentations together so that you understand how to report your grant expenditures and get paid.